Hello! We're back! Let's do a couple tier lists, okay? So, I want to rank the weapons in Classic Doom. Okay? So, let's check these out. Number 1, the fists. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? I have memories of playing co-op Doom 2 with my dad when I was a child. And we were on the level O of Destruction, Circle of Doom. And when you play it and multiplayer monsters are enabled, in the bottom, like right when you start, there's a ring. And in the bottom, there's an acid pit, and there's a cyber demon there. And in our setting, when we died, we would drop our weapons. So we got to the point in this level where we had no weapons left. And we're just jumping in with our fists and punching a cyber demon while we're on acid floor and instantly getting face rocketed. Okay? Get the fuck out of here. Okay. It's number 1. Number 2. I'm going to say chainsaw. I'm going to say chainsaw is a D. Everyone likes chainsaws because, you know, here's the thing. The chainsaw is very situational. The chainsaw can be fun in certain areas. I'm not sure if I should bump it to C. I'm trying to think. I might bump it to C later. Chainsaw is good in certain circumstances. It's good if you're trapped in a linear, narrow hallway with, like, hit scanners in front of you. And it's good against guys that are highly susceptible to pain state. Right? So, it's good against, like, a demon. I think it's okay against a Kako, I think. There's certain guys that chainsaw you'll be fine with. But other guys, you don't want to use it against a Baron of Hell. That guy will mow you down. I don't really play on Nightmare ever, but I understand that with fast monsters enabled, chainsaw stinks. Berserk. Oh, what should I do with Berserk? It's clearly better than chainsaw because it's useful against a lot of enemy types. Okay. I'm going to temporarily... I don't know if I'm going to put it at high D. I'll put it at C for now. Pistol. I'm going to put a pistol here. Pistol really has a couple uses, in my opinion. I think Doom has one of the best sets of weapons in any game. Except the pistol fucking stinks. And playing mods like Heartland, where you get the dual pistols, all of a sudden you're like... It just makes you realize how bad the base pistol is. Pistol is good for 2 things. 1, your pistol starting it, you're using it until you get your next weapon, and then you never use it again. Or 2, you can use it for sniping. First hit is always accurate. If there's an enemy really far away, that is basically the one use case if you have other options available. So F that. Okay, let's see. These next ones, all of the rest of these are hard for me to rank. Because all of the rest of these are actually really useful. So, the Super Shotgun is a tough one to rank. It's going to be S or A. I think if we base it on classic Doom games, if we're basing it just on the classic Doom games, I think the Super Shotty has to be S. Right? Because they provide you so much ammo for it. It was such a good addition because difficulties really swapped in the change from Doom 1 to Doom 2. Things changed up a lot because Doom 2 added a lot more mid to high tier monsters. And what the Super Shotty allowed you to do, in Doom 1, you had this shotgun, but most of the monsters were lower tier. But things like a Pinky Demon would take like 3 shots. Now Pinky Demons are 1 shot, which is awesome. That's a huge change. I think Pinky Demon being 1, and also Revenants being 2 shots close up with this, it's great. I feel like the moment you pop into modding territory, the issue with mods is that most mods, they push the difficulty a lot farther. But because of that, there's only so much you can do with the existing weapons when you're scaling difficulty, where the slow rate of fire with the super shotgun means that anytime you're in a large encounter, it can be kind of detrimental. It doesn't clear the space you need it to clear. And a lot of other options become better. And so I feel like in a lot of mods, this would drop down here. I'm going to put it at A. In Classic Doom, I think it's an S. But I'm going to put it at A. Okay. Oh, some of these are tough. I feel like I have to put the basic shotgun at B. I feel like the single barrel shot, the pump shotgun, is an underrated weapon. It clearly was a workhorse in Doom 1. But with the addition of the super shotgun, you don't generally use it nearly as much. But where it does become good is, 1, clearing out fodder enemies, clearing out hit scan guys. It can often save you a lot of ammo if you use that. And 2, it's actually pretty good for distance. Anytime there's like distant mancubuses, mancubi, things like that, I feel like that's a really good option. I feel like this is an underrated weapon. Chain gun. Chain gun's a weird one. Chain gun, I think, is either high B or low A. I feel like chain gun is a really important weapon. Mainly because it's really good for sniping. If you tap, the first shot is 100% accurate, and it becomes the default range weapon unless you use a rocket launcher. So I think that it has a really important use for sniping. Also, chain gun feels so fucking good when they give you a ton of like fodder hit scan enemies and imps. When they give you low tier enemies, chain gun feels great. The problem is all of these games kind of shift, especially with mods, they shift towards medium and high tier enemies a lot. And the moment they shift towards those medium and high tier enemies, I think the chain gun starts feeling really weak. I don't like using the chain gun on even like a demon or like Kako demon. I feel like it just becomes a huge ammo sink. I really like using it against fodder, and I like using it to snipe guys. So I think I'm gonna put it at high B for now. Okay. Rocket launcher. Rocket launcher is another tough one. I feel like in base Doom, in the classic Doom games, I'm not sure how many situations you needed it so much, but I feel like in mods, the rocket launcher starts becoming a workhorse, because the rocket launcher, once you start fighting those, firstly, if you fight hordes of enemies and you need to clear guys really quickly, rocket launcher is kind of your go-to. And against mid and high tier enemies, which starts becoming what you fight in mods, along with the rate of fire, the amount of damage output you can do, super shotgun is just not cutting it anymore. And things like BFG or plasma is often, the cells aren't plentiful enough. So I think it's an A. I don't know where I would put it. I mean, most of my deaths are from face rocketing, so there's that. So I think solely because of the face rocket, I'm gonna put it below super shoddy. But I feel like in mods, you actually see rocket launcher get a lot more work. It's tough to weigh it on both the classic Doom and the mod, Okay. I feel like plasma rifle is where I'm gonna piss people off. I've seen people do things like this and they put plasma rifle at S tier. I feel like in the classic Doom games, plasma rifle is often your panic button. It's you're surrounded by a shit ton of guys, and it is your way to get out of a bad situation fast. I notoriously underutilize the plasma rifle. I think it has the ugliest sprite. I think it has the ugliest sound. Plasma rifle has always felt kind of D tier to you. It is super, super useful, but there's a few issues with it. And I feel like once you... Okay, one of the issues is that it uses the same currency as the BFG, and in so many cases, BFG is just a better use. It's just... It has a higher, faster damage output, and you can get... I think BFG has more damage per cell if you make use of the tracers well. So I'm not the biggest plasma rifle fan, to be honest. It's so tough. It's so tough to say because plasma rifle is objectively a better gun than the chain gun. But there are drawbacks that makes me use it less often. One is it has a different ammo type that is scarcer than bullets. It is a good panic button. I'm going to put it at B tier. I think this is probably sacrilege, but I'm going to do that. BFG. In the past, having only played classic Doom games in the past, I would have put BFG lower because of the ammo scarcity. But honestly, the more I learn about the BFG, the more I play modded stuff, I feel like BFG has to be S tier. And the reason I think BFG is fundamentally the most skill-based weapon, and I think it's the most interesting weapon in how it works. As a kid, I always was just like, oh, you do a big projectile and it explodes or something. But when you learn how to maximize damage with the BFG, it's really interesting. The fact that you can two-shot a Cyber Demon, you can one-shot an Archvile if you use it really well. The way it works is it shoots a projectile that does bulk damage, but then it shoots like a cone of like 40 tracers. It's basically a shotgun where the shotgun blasts are invisible. So you shoot a projectile, and then it does a shotgun blast after. Once the projectile hits, you shoot out 40 tracers that's fan out on a certain, like a 90-degree angle or something. So if you get up close to an enemy and all of those tracers hit, it is so much damage. And the other thing is, once you get into modding, the problem with Doom, especially with like slaughter maps, is that the high tier enemies become damage sponges, and there's kind of a couple ways that you can increase difficulty. One way that you can increase difficulty is by confining the space, which is and so when you have maps that are difficult because you have really confined close quarters, then some of these weapons can shine more. Like the plasma rifle can shine a lot more when you're in a really small confined space. But a way a lot of these things increase difficulty, especially towards the end of WODs, is they throw a fuck ton of monsters at you. And at a certain point, the only things that are going to do any work at when you have that many monsters, like yesterday we did a Heartland and we fought 800 monsters in a fight. And the only weapons that are going to do any work are going to be things like the rocket launcher and the BFG. And the BFG is something that at a certain point in difficulty is going to be your only tool that's effective. I think it's a really fun, interesting map weapon to use. And so I'm going to go with that. So I think that's going to be my tier list for now. I think I feel good about that. But basically, in my opinion, everything from B up is like very viable. This is situational. It's obviously good for saving ammo. This is these two are quite very situational. I would usually choose something else over them, but every once in a while, you know, chainsaw can be fun and useful, and rarely pistol can be useful. But okay, so that's my tier list for the weapons. Any thoughts? any Any strong disagreement on my takes? If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment and share your opinion about how fucking wrong I am. Okay.